Welcome back to the FantasyFlo podcast. We're talking football today. We got a special guest. He's not that special, but y'all seen him.
I mean, I'm special, but like for this particular topic, yes.
Yeah, my dog. But listen, he doesn't know nothing about fantasy football, so we're here to educate him. So, you've seen him on basketball, but he's gracing his presence on fantasy football today. So
thank you.
Yeah, I had to make sure that everybody know that you ain't know shit about football.
I mean, that's what I'm here to learn, baby. That's
what this episode is for.
Yes.
It's for the newcomers. Anybody who's never played fantasy football before.
That's right.
This is for you.
That's right.
Yeah, as you all know, we're in training camp, so a lot of speculation on drafts and who you want to pick and who you want to target. These type of things are always common conversations among fantasy football players. That sounds crazy, like we actually play football, but like we're just managers. Let me say managers, fantasy football managers. And so I want to be able to open the floor to Carlos on questions that he has regarding fantasy football. But I know for a fact one thing that everybody covers in fantasy football is who do you target in the first 4 rounds? That's basically the core of your team. You catch what I'm saying?
And that's my main question. So, obviously I'm in the chat with you guys. So I'm an up and newcomer. And, typically when you're playing fantasy, you're playing for money. You don't want to invest in something that you just kind of like don't want to, you want to pay attention to it and you want to make the right move. So typically, I do basketball fantasy and, the first positions that I would try to target is definitely a center. So when it comes to football, what positions do you look for that really makes the most impact on your fantasy team?
Okay, so first things, it changed in recent years.
Yeah, it's changed.
It's definitely changed, but in past, it's always been running backs. Running backs have been what takes you to the championship, what gets you through your season, what can kill your season.
So what changed with that essentially?
Receivers got so much more valuable.
Okay.
Yeah, receivers are more valuable. I would say that you still should probably try to get a running back simply because of the fact that they still will disappear fast. Like the top 10 running backs will be gone faster than you can blink. So, and it also depends on where you're at in the draft. Yeah. Drafting is you know how it goes. It's just like basketball. It's heavily on it tailors to the spot that you have in the draft. Yeah. So like if you're later on in the draft, let's say out of 12 players, you're like 8. You're not getting the top running back. So you might want to go ahead and get a top wide receiver.
Okay.
But even then, the top receivers, like the top 3 receivers might even be gone at that point.
Right.
So if you feel like there's some people who would take Travis Kelce, the tight end, the best tight end in football, and he's almost guaranteeing you like at least 15 to 20 fantasy points and more a week. He's in tight end is such a very scarce position. So it's like when you're in a value spot where you see Travis Kelce pop up and, the best running backs are gone, the best receivers are gone. Yeah. Like you still can get a good receiver, a good running back. It's just not going to be the top tiers.
Gotcha.
Right. So in that moment, you might want to get like the top tier tight end.
So here's my next question. What is a tight end? Is that, are they on like the offensive side of football or on the defensive side of football?
Offense.
Yeah.
Okay. Are they protecting the running backs or what are they essentially?
They're an extension to the line, the offensive line, but they also can run out and catch passes.
Okay.
So that's what makes them valuable in football because when you have a really good tight end, it opens up the middle of your offense. It opens up a lot of different things. If you have a dominant tight end, it gains more traction. People have to pay more attention to them. And then it opens up for your receivers, your running backs. If they could block, your running back loves them. If you have a blocking and a pass catching tight end, it works out great. It doesn't work out great in fantasy if they're a blocking tight end.
Yeah.
But if you get a guy like Travis Kelce who predominantly catches, you're getting a steal.
Okay. So you're saying the first position you're going to draft is a wide receiver?
It depends.
It depends on your spot.
Okay.
Like for me this year in a redraft league, Kyrie knows that I'm picking. If I had the number 1 pick, I'm picking Christian McCaffrey.
Okay.
He's a running back, but he's a receiver running back. He does a lot. He's just really dynamic, explosive. He does have injury histories, but his play when he's healthy is top tier.
Okay.
Right. And
So-
that's the other thing too. It's like it also depends on what type of league you're in. So like we typically do points per reception leagues.
That's my next
So
question.
The points per reception leagues, you get an extra point every time they a running back or a wide receiver or a tight end catches a pass. So that kind of boosts the value of a running back if they're a dual threat. If they are a good runner and they can catch passes, then you might want to definitely make sure you get that type of running back in the first round if it's possible, based off of whatever spot you have. Like if you're in the top 3 to 4 spots in the draft, you definitely need to probably try to prioritize getting one of those running backs, because in the points per reception league, the wide receiver their value also increases, but it's also easier to have multiple wide receivers who are going to be consistent for you. Whereas running back is scarce. Like once you get through the good running backs, you really like grasping at straws.
Yeah.
Trust me, by round 5 and 6, you're really honestly picking at straws, and you're hoping for some people to like do a little bit better than they did before, or you're hoping that they can Madison might be somebody
Alexander Madison,
he might be somebody that you might find like in round 5, 6, right? Because he's gonna be the number 1 running back, but he's unproven yet, so we don't know if he is better than Dalvin Cook. And Dalvin Cook is, he's a Florida guy. He went and played for the Vikings, and they released him because they didn't want to pay him.
Yeah.
So he was super good, bro. And with that being said, it's like that type of talent leaving, it leaves a big void. And when people step into big voids like that, it typically doesn't always go the best. Some people do, but typically no.
So how does because you mentioned the point system, so how does that essentially, like, can you give me like a breakdown of, so you're having a matchup, is there because I know in basketball, depending on how we set it up, there's opportunities for players to do something where they lose a point. So is that also in football as well? Like,
yeah. For quarterbacks particularly, if you throw an interception, that depending on how you score, but typically it's 2 points. So you throw an interception, that's 2 points, negative 2 points.
Okay.
You fumble the ball, that's negative 2 points.
Okay.
Well, fumble lost. Depends on how you do it.
Yeah.
Some people just do fumbles in general. Some people do fumbles lost.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So if you lose the fumble, then you definitely get the negative 2 points. If you fumbled but your team picked it up, sometimes they'll just say you fumbled, but they won't take the negative 2.
Oh, gotcha.
It depends on the league manager and how they set up their league. But quarterbacks, that's pretty much where they get their negative points. And is there any way?
How does it work for like a running back who successfully ran like 20 yards? Like
20 yards would be 10. Well, not 10 points. It would be 2 points.
Okay.
So it's 10 yards per point.
And then the quarterback, depending on the distance of the pass and the success of it.
I think it's 0.25
I think it
for
is
25 yards.
25. Yeah. Is it 0.25 per 25? Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, so you got to hit 100 yards to get certain things, but there's boosts that you can give somebody. Like you threw a 50-yard pass. If you threw a 50-yard pass, you might get a 2-point boost.
Right.
You throw a 50-yard pass touchdown, you might get some points right there off that. You score a touchdown. People typically score touchdown 6 points.
Okay.
Right.
So,
or like
the player who caught the pass, they get points on top of the quarterback getting points?
yeah, whoever the results of the touchdown, whoever gets the touchdown will get the 6 points. Whoever throws the touchdown will get the 6 points, and whoever catches it or whoever runs it. So running backs, they're pretty much more self-dependent. If they run and get that touchdown, that's all them. Nobody else touches a point. Okay. But if a running back catches a ball from a quarterback and he gets a touchdown, they both get the points.
Okay.
And
then
the quarterback would also get the points for the yards that the running back made.
Right.
Okay.
As well as the running back as well.
Gotcha. And then on the defensive side, so when you guys are talking about you have a team's defense, you're having the entire like defensive lineman team, or how does that work?
the entire defense for the team. So basically, however well the defense performs in the game, they start out with 10 points usually, and then if the defense is allowing a lot of touchdown passes, a lot of yards to be ran on them or thrown on them, or if a receiver catches a lot of passes and they have a bunch of yards, they start to lose points from that 10-point. Or if they're doing good and they're stopping the opposing offense, they're getting fumbles, they're getting interceptions and stuff like that, they start getting extra points. So then sometimes you might have a defense where they get like 20 points or something. And you also have some leagues, they tie in the
Special teams
into the defense. So like, let's say on special teams, like kickoff, they run the player runs the ball
What is
all the
special
way
teams?
down. Special teams is like so basically, you know how when you're watching the game, let's say the opposing team, they turn over on third down, they decide to punt the ball away to the other team so that they can get the ball for offense. They kick the ball, somebody catches it, and then they try to run down the field to get as many yards as they can.
The kick return, is that what it's called?
That's kick return and punt return.
Punt return.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, special teams is really what it comes down to is just like the beginning of a game is kickoff. Halftime is kickoff.
Right.
After every score is a kickoff.
Okay.
If you turn over the ball, if you go through 3 downs and you don't get a first down, then you want to punt the ball. Some people go for it, but then they'll turn it right down. They'll turn it over right there, and the team takes over from that spot. But if you end up punting the ball, you're giving yourself. So say you're backed up to your end zone on the 1, and you have to punt. And if you decide to go for it, you're going to end up in a situation where they're going to be right at the end zone now. And then they can score just by pretty much walking in.
Okay.
But if you punt it, you're going to punt the ball maybe 30, 40, 50 yards down. They'll catch the ball and they'll try to get wherever they can. The other team is going to go stop them.
Gotcha.
And wherever they land is where the offense comes and they start playing offense.
Okay. That makes sense.
So, I mean, it's a lot of things that go into fantasy football. Like, so one thing we were talking about in a few different podcasts is like volatile positions. So it's like running back is always volatile because at the end of the day, you have to get your running backs early. You can get sleepers. Sleepers is the same thing in every fantasy sport.
Yeah.
You never know who becomes a sleeper. You always got to do a deep dive on your rookies because especially for running backs, rookies are now becoming more important.
Yeah.
And they end up becoming people that can save your season, that can make your season. Sometimes they take a little bit to get going, but then they just start hitting it and then they're gone.
Is that the position that's more prone to injuries?
Yes. A lot of times.
100%.
Running back is probably the most injury prone because they're running through so much.
Yeah.
They're running through the line. They're getting
tackles.
hit. Like, it's a lot of physicality.
Is that why the value to them is kind of like per season is kind of going back because of how often they get injured?
So yeah, I mean, like initially you want to try to get, a rookie running back, depending on their caliber. 2nd-year running backs, 3rd-year running backs, it gets to a certain point where the more years they have, or more seasons that they have in the NFL, the more wear and tear they have on their body, and in the odds that they're going to start looking for, the team will start looking for another running back that they can have. Or they might release that running back. Then that running back might be in free agency or something, or they might get hurt. They might retire. You never know what's going to happen with them. So you want to try to get the fresh guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a funny thing that Sean McVay said recently. It was something along the lines that if you he paid Todd Gurley like $65 million or something like that. It's a 65. But I can't remember the number, but he paid him a whole lot of money for a running back, right? Todd Gurley was one of the best running backs in the league, but he had a degenerative knee. So every time he would be balling, there's some times he would be looking like he's not even there. And then after they won the Super Bowl, he just pretty much tailed off. He wasn't doing what he was doing when he just came into the league. So it's your lifespan as a running back. I would say, to be honest with you, for good running backs, you probably got 6 solid years of good production. But after that 6th year, the team's looking for people that they could find in a draft that are young, not injured, and probably just as dynamic as you can be.
So once you start to get year 7, year 8, it's not looking good.
So it's where you see these good running backs in the league wanting money before they step into training camp because they know that their shelf life isn't gonna last long. And it sucks to say it because it's like it's probably one of the most fun positions in football.
Yeah.
But they don't value it the way that they value a DN, the way that they value a quarterback, the way they value a receiver, even a tight end. And tight ends are still kind of getting, the shitty end of it. But
but that's another scarce position. Tight ends. If you can get yourself a good one, I won't even say like top 10, more like top 5 maybe, and even then that's pushing it. Like I'd be trying to get top 3. Without outside of the top 3, you really trying to like get somebody that has potential. So.
And here's the threat of getting a tight end. Like to his point, that's why he said you might as well just want to get you like a somewhat top 10 tight end. Like you want a top 10 tight end, but the top 3 tight ends are usually the best ones and they score a lot. So
who are the top 3 tight ends?
Going into this season, Travis Kelce's still number 1.
Mark Andrews.
Okay.
I guess we can. I mean, people are gonna still want to put Kyle Pitts there, but like I feel like you got to probably bring back Kittle, Cole Kmet people. Oh, Hawkinson,
probably even Dallas Goedert.
Dallas Goedert's definitely there. Dalton Schultz. I don't know if he'll have the same success in Houston, but you never know. It's like the thing is that they're like put it this way, a tight end is basically a basketball player playing tight end.
Yeah, like imagine like Shaq as a tight end or something.
Shaq would be monstrative. Like that's
I
really
did see LeBron. He'd be a great tight end.
LeBron is a tight end because he's 6'8", and tight ends are like, what I'm saying, the line is usually like 6'7", 6'6".
Yeah,
like those are big boys. You know what I'm saying?
You want somebody with some size to them.
Yeah.
And then there's different types. Like you have the ones who have the size, not as much speed, but they'll go up for the pass, they'll catch it, they'll come down with it, they'll fight for yardage. They're the red zone target. Then you have the tight ends who they have some size, but they have more speed. They're more agile, so that they can, like Kyle Pitts, for example, would be that. He's like
a receiver,
basically a wide receiver.
Yeah.
So that's the beautiful thing about tight end is like you got a couple different types, but ultimately if you can catch the ball, you're good. If you can block for the team in the team aspect, if you can block, they love you. But if you can catch the ball at a high clip, you're going to be looked at as an elite tight end.
So what's a position that I guess in a sense that's maybe the least valuable, or you can kind of wait to the end to draft? That's not as important as like a running back, a quarterback, tight ends.
That'll be like a kicker or the defense.
Okay.
I usually don't draft those 2 positions until like my second to last or last spot.
Yeah, and a lot of people, when it comes down to defenses and kickers, there's some people that are going to be like, hey, I want the best kicker or I want the best defense. Because if you can get the best defense and you know that they're going to be good, like that's solid points for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you do, but the thing is that with kickers and defenses, is bye weeks happen, right? And as you build your team, you're gonna be building backups and secondary, third type plans. Like you're gonna make sure that you have backups for different situations because you might have an injury prone player. You know what I'm saying? Or if you have an injury prone player, that's when you look in and you basically explore the avenue of having a handcuff, which is basically say I have the best running back on whatever team, and say he gets hurt, the next man up is going to take that position and take those reps. So in a lot of cases, when you have for a good example is Green Bay. You have AJ Dillon. He's the handcuff to what's his
name?
Aaron Jones. And Aaron Jones is really good, but AJ Dillon is really good too. But if Aaron Jones gets hurt, AJ Dillon steps in. So it's like a lot of people who pick up Aaron Jones, they would want to go and possibly pick up AJ Dillon too as well. So you're covered. And a lot of times some people also, just comes into strategy. If you see somebody picked up an injury prone player, somebody like Kyrie would do this to people.
Oh yeah, because he's definitely on my mind.
Yeah, if I pick up Christian McCaffrey, Kyrie's gonna go pick up Elijah Mitchell because he's gonna look at it as like
Maybe.
I'm not saying he would, but I'm just giving you an example.
Theoretically, yes.
Yeah, so I'm saying like because if he knows that Christian McCaffrey can get hurt at the like that, he knows that Elijah Mitchell's value goes skyrocketing.
He's RB number 1 now.
Yeah, exactly. And
I'm
gonna be looking for him.
Right. So I could bust a trade.
Yeah.
Or if you're not trying to trade, then I just come up.
Yeah. So I actually wanted to double back on because you did mention the bye week, because I heard you guys talking about bye weeks. So how do you, like, when you're doing your fantasy research, how do you take an account of bye weeks? How does that affect when you draft?
So with bye weeks, the thing about bye weeks is if you have too many players on your roster that have the same bye week, when that week comes, if you don't have enough players on your bench to fill those spots, then you're stuck. You don't have any room to drop anybody. So you'll have an empty roster spot in your starting lineup. And that's not what you want. You want to try to balance it out so that it's okay to have some players that have the same bye week, but you don't want to have too many.
But do you have to like do the research to kind of like
you really
plan
don't have
it
to
out,
do
or?
the research. Like now with the way you can draft on ESPN or whatever, and they have the cheat sheet there for you, you can set it so that it shows. Most of the time they show you the bye weeks, or you can look and see what the bye week is, and you can keep track of it. Just like for you could keep track of it.
Yeah, like basically what, like, to piggyback on what he's saying is like bye weeks are important though. Like when you're drafting, like they do give you a lot of resources to know what bye weeks are and how you should go about it. But it also depends on you.
Yeah.
So you have to pay attention to the players you're drafting. So if you decide that, okay, I'm picking up this player, he has bye week number 8, and then you end up picking up this next player, he has bye week number 8, and then you pick up a next player, he has bye week number 9, and then the next player is bye week number 8. Like at some point, and you start realize you racked up about like 5-6 players that possibly have the same bye
week, yeah.
Right.
And you can get away with it if you have enough of the positions to substitute.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you don't draft properly and you don't pick up your waiver wire players carefully, you'll run into those issues all the time.
Yeah.
There's times where people have to pretty much punt the week, because if they want to win, they'll have to drop their whole team almost.
Gotcha.
Right. Like for example, if you want to get a running back and a wide receiver that have a week 8 bye week, that's fine. But let's say you have 3 running backs with a week 8 bye week, and you're in a league where you can only have a total of 5. So your other 2 running backs,
They could be so.
they could be, your average running back that might not even get you 10 points or something like that. Then boom, you basically just got a goose egg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as like a first timer drafting in football, what is something you would recommend not to do first, or like a position not to draft first, or just
First time,
move
I
not
would
to
tell you,
make?
I would definitely tell you not to go get a quarterback first.
I'd have to agree with that.
That's the first thing, because unless you know what you're doing,
Yeah.
you like, here's the thing, right? When you know how a snake draft goes, right?
Yeah.
So think about it, right? There's only about 10 running backs, 12 running backs that everybody wants to get at least one of them.
Yeah.
They're gonna go, but there's also gonna be sprinkled in of top receivers, so they'll get spread out. But you got to think about it: 12 people, 12 people, and you pick your player. Say you pick a receiver up.
Yeah.
When you come back around into that second round, you better go get you a running back. Because a lot of people may just be like, oh, well, there's a lot of good receivers. I can just go get 2 receivers in the first round. And the first 2 rounds, and then worry about running back. There's a 0 running back strategy where people basically like, you know what, I'll go find like a running back in the later rounds. There's also another strategy called a hero running back strategy. So that means you draft 1 running back first. And after you draft that 1 running back, you go build the rest of your team. Receivers, quarterback, tight ends. You just fill it up. Pause. You gotta do that. So you gotta address all those positions, and then you start picking up like little sleeper running backs you
Yeah.
might believe in, or just like some guys that might be able to do something. But if you believe in the rest of your team, you can survive. But you got like these are strategies that you'll gain over time.
Yeah. Obviously, like as you get into it and playing it, and
The strategy that I probably would recommend is you want to try to have as much balance as possible.
Balance is key.
Because and this is the other thing I'll tell you too.
Yeah.
As far as the position that you don't want to get, if you a bald black man named Reggie, alright, you probably gonna get a quarterback first round.
Oh, so he picks quarterbacks first
religiously every time.
What is his reasoning behind that?
He wants the best quarterback in the game every year, but he ends up.
Is that Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get him though, like you get the best quarterback in the game, you can do that. But the thing is like you end up finding yourself in a situation where you picked the quarterback and you missed out on at least maybe 5 to 10 good players like receivers and running backs.
Right.
And then when you come back around, you have to address those other positions
ASAP
as soon as possible. And you're still not getting the best of the best at that point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you may have the best of the best quarterbacks, but people wait till like round 4 at least, to start pulling up on like the Josh Allens, the Joe Burrows. Like people will go get Patrick Mahomes early because there's always somebody that believes that they need to have Patrick Mahomes at the helm of their team.
Yeah.
But I don't always think that having the best quarterback results to your team being the best. I think when you have, like Kyrie said, balance, it's key. Like if you have a top 5 quarterback, a top 5 running back, a top 5 receiver, and that's your core.
That's
And
solid
now with that being said, you're not always going to get the top 5, but with the reason why it could be top 5 is because maybe when you got your best running back or the best receiver in the first round, you came back in the second round, you got you one of the back end running backs, and he has a really good season. He can propel himself up to the beginning, to like the top end of the running backs or whatever position. Same thing with receiver. So like sometimes if you draft properly and like somebody is due for like a breakout season and they're already good, like you or say like there's an upgrade at that team's position for like say a person got a new quarterback and their team didn't have a quarterback. For a perfect example, the Buccaneers, they lost Tom Brady. They are pretty much looking for the next quarterback that is going to be for their team. They got Baker Mayfield. They looking at Carson Wentz. They looking at they got, what's the other guy? They had Kyle Trask. And so they got those 3 quarterbacks, and they have superstars at receiver. Superstars at receiver. You got Mike Evans. You got Chris Godwin. 2 of the top receivers in the league. They're not the top, but they're regarded as top receivers. But they're gonna have a drop off because there's no more Tom Brady.
Right.
They don't have any like rookie prospects, or they just want to kind of draft a quarterback who's already in the league.
I mean, I don't even know what they used I don't know what they used their pick on this year, but it's hard, bro. Quarterback is such a tricky thing in the league.
Is Cam Newton still playing?
Nah, but I wouldn't be shocked if they gave him a shot too, bro. I ain't even gonna lie. Somebody gonna give Cam another shot.
It ain't happening, dog.
Somebody giving Cam another shot.
I don't see it, man. I don't see it.
And Kaepernick is done.
Oh yeah,
boy, he ain't. Listen, man.
Yeah,
respect to him, but
they were entertaining him just to keep people's mouths closed. Yeah, we gonna have Kaepernick come out for a tryout.
Yeah,
did
he get picked up?
Nope.
Yeah, I mean some of that was on him too.
Yeah,
but overall, that's like the gist of it. And I mean, we can always give you a little bit more insights into the intricacies of other things as well.
Yeah.
But like, you want to just build a balanced team. You want to make sure that everything is good.
Yeah. No, this is very helpful, very informative, for a pendejo like me. I don't know anything about football, so this is really nice.
Pendejo.
Pendejo.
Pen?
Pendejo.
Pen. Oh, see, I say Ben.
No,
so I'm sounding like I'm saying Ben.
Yeah.
Pendejo. All right, then. All right, well, y'all boys, thank y'all for tuning in. This is FantasyFlo Football. Again, we were trying to, educate our good friend
Just
Carlos.
trying to learn, baby. That's all.
And Kyrie over here with the mastermind, strategic thinking. Listen, and he's not winning another league no more.
Look, whoever's like me out there who doesn't know about football, tune in. Try to win some money. If whether it's a $20 league, a $10 league, tune in, learn about it, because that's what I'm trying to do. So
Definitely. So
leave some comments on any clips that we post. That way we know, what other information we might need to give to y'all.
Yeah,
definitely. So just make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment.
Yes, sir.
Follow us on all of our platforms. We good out here, y'all boys. Talk to y'all later.
Yeah. Listen. Took some time to get these mental reps. God body complex. Always go for more, never strive for less. Couldn't walk in my shoes, you ain't prepared for that. You niggas holding so much space, ain't clearing no cap. This here my luxury tax, get a massage, right raps. We done came so far to have to ever look back.